All right, guys, so for those of you that watched the earlier video that linked to this video, you'll have a little more in-depth understanding of why I'm saying we're going to have a soft landing. This video is designed to go more into the impacts of everything I went into in the previous video. A lot of you guys are going to want to just watch this, just the recap, basically, the recap of what I went into earlier, and that's fine. But if you really want an in-depth understanding of why I think we're set for a soft landing in the real estate market and we are not going to have a crisis, then I would definitely click the link at the end of this video to that initial one. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, there should be any second now a little link. You can check out our website where we teach people how to profit both in flips and in recovering surplus funds, also called excess proceeds and overages and overbids. So both supply and demand, this is what's going to come up here, guys, in the next few years, starting in probably January. Both demand and supply is going to increase in the greater real estate market. The tipping point, this is something I brought up in an earlier video. The tipping point and the demographics are the main drivers of this, okay? Meaning rents are going to go up faster than the cost of owning a home with a mortgage in the coming couple of months going forward. So we're going to hit that tipping point where even if it's a stretch for buyers to get a mortgage with a little slightly higher rate, and 6% is not a high rate, but at a slightly higher rate, they're still going to take the jump because of the cost of rents, right? It's still going to be cheaper to do that. And the demographics are driving it. That would be the baby boomers. Mortality, guys, they're dying. I went into all those statistics and where the next couple of years we're going to see a lot of that going away. So demographics are driving this, the buyers and the sellers and where they each are. 80% approximately home ownership and people that are baby boomers versus 37% millennials who have a lot of money and a lot of risk tolerance. So sellers are going to be in a more traditional market, meaning they'll have to fix it up to sell it. Inspections will have to be the norm again. People are not going to take the risk they were in the last couple of years. And good faith money or due diligence fees are going to come down. The impact here, the fix and flip folks, our customers, when we use the deed flip system, will look to maximize their profits. And guys, we still do surplus funds. Will look to maximize their profit by buying cheap and utilizing their own crews. Marginal or bid players, hear me out, will be forced out, limiting profitability to vertically integrated companies. In other words, companies that have their own crews. Our deed flip program will really shine first quarter of the year because that's our end user, that's our customer. With more sellers fixing up their property, which is a return to the norm, sellers will issue homes, problem homes, will sell cheaply, or they will give up and let it go to sale. So you're going to see an increase in the surplus funds hitting and an increase in the opportunity for deed flips starting in January of next year. Past few years, sellers have put their homes on as is, and they still hit home runs. No more, guys. That's not happening. More mortgage and tax overages, especially lower end free and clear property that's in rough shape. More of those are going to happen. You're going to see a lot of money coming in surplus, and you're going to continue to see an increase in the average surplus funds amount. You may see an increase in investors going with buy and hold instead of flipping, which is kind of nice. It's going to have a slight impact on the inventory for us, which will actually help us in the long term, as the rising rental income will more than offset the higher cost to maintain the property, right? Costs more money to hire people to do that, and it costs more money for the goods, the materials to do that, and the higher taxes. We have reassessments coming. I did a full video on that, a mini tsunami coming in because of taxes being reassessed. So what that's going to do, it's going to increase the tax bill, which is also going to increase mortgage payments because mortgage payments typically escrow the tax bill. So that's going to go up, or escrow the tax bill, so that's going to go up quite a bit. Those buy and hold buyers will pay more too because they're not chasing a hit and run or home run flip profit. Buyers will be upping their savings. You're going to see a lot of this, guys, particularly in the millennials who used to spend like crazy. They're going to stop that because they're going to need to buy down the rate or have some money to spend on the back end. These are very risk tolerant millennials, so they will not be afraid of foreclosure property also. So that's going to continue to create more competition at the auctions, and those are going to continue to be heated, creating more overages in tax and mortgage foreclosures. Mortgage lenders will see a resurgence in loan applications and in closings, of course. We will see a flip in the market. In other words, more resale properties in the in inventory, not just because of mortality, but because sellers that used to say, hey, I can't, it's not worth it to me to sell my home, I can't find anything in the lower end where I'm actually going to come out ahead, those sellers are going to be willing to sell for slightly less because they will be able to scale down for less. And there will be opportunities in the entry or starter level, the lower level properties. The floor is going to be lower, guys, on the entry level or smaller homes. It just is. A couple reasons for that. So there's going to be there'll be a highest increase in demand in the entry starter level, and as a result, for the profit for vertically integrated flip companies and more overages from foreclosures, right? The reason the floor will still drop is even with folks scaling down, the millennials, they're not going to buy the entry level homes. They're going to see the drop in the mid to upper level homes, and they're going to jump. They're going to skip the entry level. And these are folks with great incomes, high risk tolerance. They're not afraid to do this, guys. So they're not going to buy the cookie cutter starter home. They're going to jump up. So the competition is going to be good at the entry level. It's going to be strong, but it's still going to result in a drop because it's not going to be as strong as the upper level and middle level. I know that sounds counterintuitive. The new construction market will be very small, guys, with shrinking profit margins. That's going to drive down vacant land a bit, guys. Vacant land isn't going to go for what it used to. Resale property is going to be the norm, not new construction. With lower values on vacant property, with lower values, owners facing foreclosure will just let it go, which is going to create more foreclosures. And even with the lower value, as many of these are free and clear, guys, it's just a tax bill, overages will follow. We're going to see a lot of overages coming. Look for there to be a ton of land properties coming on, not until the end of 2023. But there won't be a lot of new construction building on these, so you're going to see that starting to stack, that inventory, because the cost of labor and materials has eroded the profit for new construction, and this resale flood that's coming in will offset builders' opportunity quite a bit. In other words, that's going to be the norm. But it would be a great time if you're an investor to buy land as an investment. Buy and hold, because this will not last more than about 5 years. Great time to buy property if you've got some extra cash. By that I mean land. Okay, aging population and rising mortgage and tax bills will increase the inventory for resale. We went into this in depth on the previous video. Tax and mortgage foreclosures, guys, they're coming. Older owners with no family will simply be foreclosed on. It's going to be a lot of that. We talked about the mortality rate. We talked about what's happening with the baby boomers and what the demographics are saying to us. That's going to create a lot of overages. The rising payments on mortgages and tax bills will force out folks just that are already hanging on. And I said it before, I did a video on it. There's a mini tsunami coming in this. All right, so dumpster diving, going after rough property if investors are smart and flip the flippers, will continue to be the most profitable segment of flipping. That's exactly where we are with our flipping programs. That's going to be first quarter of 2023. The deed flipping programs that we offer will be crazy profitable. There is some synergy in using a flipping program we have and the surplus, because you're going after them both pre-foreclosure and after, so you get two shots at the same deal, just so you know. That's why a lot of those bundles combine those. Recap of the recap, strap in, because this is going to be very interesting indeed. If you know what you're doing and you apply the concepts right and don't try to take shortcuts, you're going to make a lot of money.